What's up guys, my name is Kelvin, and then for this tutorial we're just going to do something like this. Alright, it's going to be very simple. Let me just explain the whole process one by one without using any AI, just using one text effect, and everything should be done. Alright, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so I'm going to be a little bit fast so that you get everything, so that this video doesn't take forever. Right, so we're just going to make a couple of lines here, and then let's just make sure the color is black. All right, you can make any colors you want, right? It doesn't matter. All right, so just make sure that this doesn't pass to the edges. It's at the edges. All right, at the edges, something like that. And then let's just press OK, and then move it to the side, and then duplicate as many as you want. You can see like everything is aligned on the edges, right? And then just Control E, they should be merged, and then Ctrl J, duplicate everything, and then rotate everything 90 degrees, and then you should have something like this. All right, just make sure you merge these two again, so you should remain with these lines. All right, there are other ways of making this, but I just love to make it practical so that everyone sees how to make them manually. Right, so once you have something like this, just merge everything, convert it into a smart object so that we can go inside and replace it with anything we want. So for us to make the curvature, so let's just reduce the opacity a bit. So for us to make the curvature, we're just going to go on distort and then go on pinch, right? You can reduce the zoom according to how you want it to be. So for me, I think this is pretty much okay. You can adjust it to however you want. So for me, I'm just going to use this one, and then we'll go inside here, and then inside here we're just going to change everything. So let's just say we make text. You can place anything you want here, but for me, I'm just going to do a simple text. Okay, you can place your logos here, you can place anything here, just depends. All right, for me, I'm going to use a text, so we're just going to say color one, something like this. I think this is okay. I mean, let's make it a little bit interesting. So let's go on the end and then change the font for this one. So for the end, we're just going to use this font, and then let's just resize this. And then you should have something like this, and then Control S to save, so that it saves even to the other side, and then just close that, and then if you go back here, and then you should have something like this. It's very much simple. And then once you have something like this, if you see at the edges, here in the corners, it's not curved very nice. All right, how are we going to fix that? We're just going to go on filters and then go on liquify. So once you go on liquify, you can simply like adjust it according to how you want. So we're just going to do something like that, and then something like this, and then even here something like that. All right, so once you have this, and then the other thing you're just going to do is press OK. So let's just save this. All right, let's just say the OG. All right, so since this is the OG, now we're just going to say duplicate this. We're just going to get this. All right, just going to use any text effect you want. All right, just use any text effect you want, as long as it has the extrusion. All right, extrusion. So for me, I'm going to use this text effect from Hyperpix. So we're just going to do just going to copy this, just Control C on your keyboard, and then go into Hyperpix, and then double click on the effects, and then it should bring you inside the effects. All right, and then just paste anything that you want to put inside. Take every effect that is on the text which you found here. All right, so just going to take this effect, and then make sure it's also white inside. All right, not black. And then just make sure everything is uniformly according to the thing you found inside. All right, so these like the effects are identical. All right, so let's just delete even this one, and then Control S. Now let's now use it. Right, so Control W to close the project, and then this is what we have. So as in for this text effect, this is how it's looking. Right, just merge everything. If it has two groups, merge those two groups, not into one, individually. All right, but if it has glow, make sure you turn off the glow. All right, the glow always ruins this effect. Just going to convert the extrusion into a smart object, and then the style into a smart object. So we're only going to take these two. All right, and then the rest we'll delete. I'll show you how to do everything. All right, so the colors and everything. All right, so let's just take these, drag them inside here, then let's just hide this, look for an image that has stars for the background, and then let's just make it a little bit bigger. For the planet, I'm going to use the moon, right? This moon, and then resize it. For me, I'm going to resize it like that, all right? And then remember, I did say we're going to make our own effect, so we start with the selective colors. Selective colors, they are very nice, all right? I'm going to go on blacks, and then just make 5% of everything, all right? It gives us this black feel, all right? And then let's just do color lookups, all right? So on the color lookups, I think drop blue works very nice. All right, and then just add contrast, all right, contrast, and then reduce the brightness like this. Just go down here, and then let's open another color lookup, and then for this one or something like this one should be nice, and then drag it down here, and then it should look something like that. Go on the text effect, duplicate it, and then you should have another copy, and then just merge it, merge the group, and then double click on the layer, and then it should bring you inside here, and then inside here, and then just change the color to the overlay to black. All right, so this overlay to black, we're using it for the shadows. All right, so just go on the filters, and then camera, and then go on the blur gallery. So on the blur gallery, just say path blur. So inside the path blur, it's going to be very much simple and straightforward. So if you can't see the arrow, just Control H, and then you should be given the arrow, something like this. So I want the shadows to go this side, okay? Because light is coming this side, then even this side, the moon is even dark, all right? So just remove the center, and then adjust this according to how you feel like it should be. And then for me, I think the speed should just reach here. I think this is okay. And then if you can't see it properly, you can always bring back the layer so that you see it clear. So for me, I have a lot of experience making something like this. So I really don't care if I see the top or if I don't see it. So it should look something like this. So this is an illusion we just created, right? So the reason why we merge these, the extrusion and the style individually, because the style is on top and the extrusion is down. It's because we want to make the extrusion even darker than the way it is, so that it gives us that real shadow look. All right, so just go levels. You can use anything to make it dark. Levels, and then reduce the levels to something like this. So they should be dark, something like that. All right, it's okay. And then once you have something like this, just go on the effect and then duplicate it on top. Alt, and then drag it on top, and then they should be duplicated. All right, and then merge the one on top. Change it blending mode to screen. Once you change it to screen, go on top here on filters, and then go on blur. On blur here, just go down here, and then Gaussian blur. All right, so on Gaussian blur, just make sure you have the right amounts that you want to use. All right, like this should be okay. All right, so I have this. Just reduce the opacity. The blur shouldn't be too much. All right, and then add layer mask. So once you add the layer mask, just erase it on the side where it shouldn't be glowing, right? Like this side, it shouldn't glow on this side. And then open up a new layer, click that new layer, Alt, and then click on the black color, any black color you can see, and then you can even change the color just here, and then change this to black, and then it should give us black here, right? And then paint this side black like that, all right? And then reduce the opacity. Not too much, not very much, something like this, all right? So we can just go down on the stars here, open up a new layer, and then make a very small brush, all right? Something like this with a bright color, right? With a bright color, and then let's just make it soft all the way, so something like this, right? And then resize it according to how you want, and then move it down somewhere here, and then you should have something like this. And then if it's too much, you can always reduce the opacity to something like that, and then go on the moon again, and then duplicate the moon, resize it, rasterize it, something like this, and then also apply the Gaussian blur, something like that, and then change it to screen, right? So once you change it to screen, add a layer mask, and then erase the parts that you don't want the glow to be. All right, so let's just make it black, and then let's just erase these parts, and then this part there should be glow. All right, I think this part there should be glow, so you should have something like that, and then this is okay. All right, so once you have something like this, you can always go on the internet to find your like texture, noisy texture or anything like that. But for me, I have this plugin. It has some background textures. You can, like, they are not different, right? They are not different. So you can always go online, check out new textures. For me, I only use these to save time, right? That's the reason why we have like plugins, just to save time. And then just make it any size you want, and then make sure it's gray. Right, once it's gray, and then you can try to play around with it. Try to see the blending modes that will fit in. I think divide works for me. I think it's giving that texture. The texture is prominent. It's there. You can see it. So I think this is it for me. Okay, this is it for me. And then once everything is done, you can always change the colors if you want. So we're going to go on the color balance. Just going to give it a little bit of color. So just on the color balance, a little bit of blue if you want, a little bit of purple if you want. I want to give it something bluish. I think bluish because the sky is a little bit bluish, and then something like that. All right. So once you have something like this, you can add as many things as you want. But I think this is it. This is pretty much done. Everything is done. Unless you have any questions to say, how did you do that? How did you do that? You can always bring out the questions, and then I'll show answer, and then give you the main reason why I used some of the elements here. So this is how you do it without using any AI. And then this is how I do it. I don't love using AI on my own. So this is the fastest way you can do it. One of the fastest way you can do it. I think there are other ways, but this is the way I use because I love doing everything manually. All right, peace out.